we've been told that these final 8 episodes are what the show has always been building towards. And watching this episode especially, I was kind of just like, come on. You're telling me that the big plan for these episodes was separating all of our people in the final 8 episodes, sending them to hard labor camps to clear tracks for a railroad, and then getting them back together. We know that's likely not true. I say that because I know everyone was thrown off by the show's final season announcement. I know they were outlining future seasons when they decided season 11 was the final one. I won't say anymore because I've talked about this a lot. Otherwise, highlight of the episode for me, and I'm sure this was a highlight for many people, Ezekiel and Negan's conversation. At the start of the episode, I was excited to see Khary Payton and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, also Angel Theory, paired together, because I was just like, oh yeah, I don't think we've ever really received a JDM and Khary Payton scene, really. And then Zeke explains why, and it makes a lot of sense. But in this shocking moment, Zeke calls out Negan's heinous misdeeds, saying, and I'm just going to read the quote so I don't miss anything. I stayed away from you for years for a reason, melting people's faces with irons, coercing women into marrying you, slaughtering my people. That shit, sorry, I'm just quoting, I have not forgotten. Nobody has. And I thought that was a really powerful moment and a smart way for the show to address something that people have continuously criticized with Negan, but that the show has never been, it's always skirted around, it's always danced around. No one has actually ever brought up this harem of women to Negan's face. I know it was brought up on Fear the Walking Dead, but Sherry's character is still suffering PTSD from this. You know, I think a lot of people had been and have been upset the show redeemed a character who some people believe maybe didn't reserve redemption. I think I've said at least on Twitter before that I love comic Negan, and I know that yes, I have written criticizing the character. I'm not going to go into this at length here because I've talked about it so much in the past. What I will say is that I had the chance to speak with Khary Payton, and I asked him about this scene in particular. I asked him about him being the character on the show to broach this topic with Negan and to bring up the line about coercing women into marrying him. And he gave such a great response. He said that I asked him if that line was his idea or JDM's, or if that came up, in the writer's room. He told me that he believed that was from some of the women in the writer's room. He also was really happy that he was the character who finally got to broach that topic with Negan. Honestly, like, Khary gave such a great response to this, and then we wound up talking for probably almost 8 minutes about the just how men should really raise their voices and speak up in cases where they know women are suffering. And yeah, I hope that you guys check out that conversation. I'll drop a link to it in this video after it's live on Sunday night. I always, when I do these interviews with the cast, I always have like 10 to 15 questions planned out for all of them. And usually I stay on script. Khary is one of those people who always gets me to kind of like go off script because we just wind up talking about, I think we always talk about something deeper in life, but things that are really important topics, I think. And this is certainly one of them. I was really, gosh, I really thought that maybe I wasn't even going to speak to Khary for these final episodes. And so when I got an email this is like late Wednesday night, and it was like, oh, do you want to talk to Khary on Friday? And I was like, oh, I have something Friday to do. But I said, let me know the time because I want to make this happen. And then I woke up Thursday morning and I had an email. I had a really late Wednesday. I went to the Black Panther Wakanda Forever premiere. And maybe if you guys are curious, I'll do a reaction video about that. It's good. But I woke up Thursday morning and I had an email and it was like, actually, can you talk to Khary today? And it was like in a few hours. So I kind of just dropped everything and I prepped for that. But anyway, yeah, Khary and I spoke about this scene. I'm trying to see what other notes that I had written down about this here. Um, do, do, do. Yeah, I just really like that that the show expressed that not everyone is hunky dory and they're down with turning a blind eye to Negan's misdeeds. I thought it was an extremely fair way to show that we simply can't just slap this man on the wrist and move forward. Uh, yeah, I also just wrote, I think at this point the show, for what it's worth, has shown us time and time again that Negan has not forgotten what he's done. And yeah, I'm not going to go down more of a rabbit hole on it. I know that people have a lot of strong opinions on it, and if you want to find more that I've written about it, happy to link to it below. I've written quite a lot. Um, Otherwise, and I think I'm getting to the end of my thoughts on the episode. I think it is so silly that the group has been on this wild goose chase to find their friends and their family. And we learn, it turns out by the end of the episode, oh, they were all at Alexandria all along. Or, oh, they're heading back to Alexandria. What? Like, does Pamela realize the group is being sent back to the home that they've lived at for like a decade and that they know in and out much more thoroughly than the Commonwealth soldiers who just took it over? Uh, this just seemed extremely silly to me. I did ask Khary about this as well. Khary pointed out to me that, you know, maybe, although Maggie and Aaron and some of those other people may know that area really well, it's not the place that Ezekiel called home all of his life. It's not the place that Kelly or Negan called home all their life. And cool, fair, I guess, but I'm sure that they still know some of the nooks and crannies of Alexandria. It's just my first reaction was, pardon my French, why the F would you send a group you're holding hostage to live in familiar territory as prisoners? Because, and I'm sure that many people are thinking this, you're giving them home advantage. I mean, Maggie's really excited by this by the end of the episode, and I'll get to that in a minute because that was a great scene. But they're going to know all the nooks and crannies. We know from season 8, the war with Negan, that there's a network of tunnels underneath Alexandria. So yeah, this just seems silly, especially because the Commonwealth are aware that they're bringing people back to their old homes. Like we literally hear them on the radio saying that to Rosita. So the show is really losing me in these past few episodes in terms of logic. That said, and I've seen some others mention this after watching the episode early, I really liked Maggie's remarks at the end of the episode. She tells Connie and the others, I'll read the quote, Milton has underestimated us since day one. We're going to get our kids, take back our home, and make it right. And Pamela's never going to see it coming. The lighting and everything about that final scene and the delivery of that final scene obviously gives off Rick Grimes vibes. They're screwing with the wrong people, Terminus vibes. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. We know they've been weaving in a lot of nostalgic elements in these final episodes. I do wonder if they ever considered giving that dialogue to Daryl or Carol, who have also been there since the beginning. But I think because of where we're at, I think it makes sense for Maggie to give that speech because she has the most at stake right now with her son Herschel missing. Yes, Daryl wants to get Judith and RJ back, but he also just spent most of this episode rallying to get Connie back. So he's had a minor win. Carol, remember, she also just had a huge episode on episode 1120. But also remember, Carol wasn't present when Rick gave that Terminus speech back in the day, right? So Rick had exiled her from the group at the time. Then she wound up saving everyone. Yeah, go figure. So, but, Maggie channeling Rick here, I thought made even more sense because when you go back to the season 4 finale, when that speech with Rick happened, a small speech, she was in the train car with Rick as he said that line to Glenn, Abraham, and more. And Daryl was there as well. And I bet Daryl in the moment can appreciate that speech by Maggie because it probably takes him back a bit to that moment. So those are my large feelings on the episode. I wrote down a few other random thoughts I had. There are a lot. Let's see. One, I love the scene between Maggie and Carol because those two women rarely have had any meaningful scenes together, they just always have to keep it together for the rest of the group. They keep on keeping, so it was just nice to get to see them have an exchange. I wrote that Gabriel is so hilarious. He had my favorite line of dialogue this episode when he said the thing about I think it was stop bitching and move forward, or yeah. I think that I hope I wrote that down right here. I meant to go double check it before making this video. So if I'm wrong, I'll write in the comments what it really is. Oh, the Commonwealth using the train horn is so absurd to me. Like, who are they using that for? If anything, I thought that that was going to draw unwanted attention either from bandits, from other groups, or obviously draw a horde of walkers. I think I've seen people point out that a train on its own is already immensely noisy. So I don't know why you would even bother with the horn. I'm also even more of the belief now that there is no way that the CRM, the Civic Republic military, can't know about the Commonwealth's existence if they have a system of trains. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a small mention on Sunday's episode that Connie is on what is labeled Train 4. And that took me by surprise because I was like, does that mean that the Commonwealth has 4 working trains? Unclear. But if you have 4 working trains, even if you have 1 working train and you're blowing that horn and the CRM has helicopters that they're flying all the time, wouldn't one of these helicopters spot the trains? I'm trying to be logical. I know sometimes like my logic gets thrown out the window, and I just have to say, you know what, Kirsten, you're just thinking too hard. But I don't know. Let's see. I like Daryl saving Connie and their little interaction afterwards. I like Daryl using his bike skills from over the years to outmaneuver a Commonwealth soldier and slide into him with the bike. Only complaint there is that I wish that wasn't given away in the trailers. I feel like a lot of the best moments from these final 8 episodes have been given away in the trailers. I thought it was also really silly that they let the train conductor Wilson somehow get a hold of a weapon off screen and then, you know, off himself. I thought that that made Carol and Maggie look incompetent, and we know from the past 2 episodes that they are anything but. And then also just, where's Magna? And I know I could say, where's Virgil? Where's Diane? Where's Birdie? And while I'm not holding my breath for a Virgil appearance, maybe Magna slipped out and tried to get to Oceanside or find others. I know that Luke is supposed to show up somewhere in these final episodes. That is all I will say there. So yeah, that's those are all my feelings on 11/21. I'm probably now going to go and watch 11/22. Tonight's Friday, October 28th for me. And I like to try to make these reaction videos before I watch the subsequent episodes so that that's not blurring into anything I may say here. I think that that's fair, right? Anyway, how is everyone else feeling about these episodes? Am I the only one who is feeling like there are some obviously contrived moments and some silly mistakes being made by our survivors in order to get to the end point that AMC or the show needs The Walking Dead to end at for this larger universe to continue? Are we feeling like we're reaching an actual end point in the next few weeks? Are we liking what we're watching? Let me know. Let me know if there are other things that you want to hear my thoughts on. I am not sure as of right now if people are wondering if I'm going to do stuff for the finale event out here. I guess I'll keep you guys abreast of that. I had a conversation with one of my friends this week who also covers The Walking Dead. And I told him, like, we weighed out some of the pros and cons, and he had said to me that he thinks that I would really regret it if I wasn't there. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna get going before my dinner gets cold, and then I guess I'm gonna watch 11/22, and hopefully it's really good.